Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Superwoman on our digital TV channel F15. My name's Heidi, and in this broadcast, I'm talking to experienced leaders, young professionals, enthusiasts, founders, and executives who share lessons learned to increase diversity in their companies in order to be more productive, efficient, or maybe happy. My guest today is Emily Rose Jordan. Emily is originally a neuroscientist, and she is COO of Ancora.ai. Welcome, Emily. It's nice to have you here.
Hi, Heidi. Thanks so much.
Let's learn a little bit more about yourself and about Ancora.ai. You are located in Berlin, but obviously you are not German.
Yeah, that's right. So I'm originally American, but I've actually been away for quite a while. So I moved over to the UK about 10 years ago now to do my PhD, and then just stayed in Europe since then. So now I'm in Germany.
Mm-hmm. And you are one of the co-founders of Ancora.ai. What is it all about? It's a kind of platform. I had a look at it, and the story behind it is quite heartwarming. Probably, please tell us a little bit about it.
Sure. So Ancora.ai is a tool that helps patients and doctors better find clinical trials to participate in research for new medical treatments. And there's maybe a couple of things that I would say about it and why it's important. And I think this year, so many people finally know about clinical trials and understand a lot about them because of the pandemic. But there's a big need in the process of developing new medications to find patients to participate in research to help collect the data needed to bring those drugs to a wider population of people. And it can really benefit patients. But what I saw and what my co-founders saw working in pharmaceutical development for a long time was that most patients don't know about this option. And doctors who do know about the option don't really have time or the proper tools to find clinical trials. So that's what Ancora.ai helps with. It helps really easily identify the right trials for the right patient.
So is it like kind of a artificial intelligence tool, a kind of software that filters like kind of specific persons for the specific clinical trials? I would like to understand it better because I'm not very into this topic.
Sure. Yeah. So just maybe to walk you through how it works. So say, for example, you are unfortunately diagnosed with a disease like cancer and you want to know all of your treatment options. So maybe you're interested in looking at trials alongside some other standard treatments and your doctor doesn't have a lot of time, maybe hasn't mentioned it yet. So you want to just have a look and see if there's anything out there for you. So you can go onto Ancora and in less than 5 minutes for the average patient, you can answer a few questions about yourself without actually having to give us any contact information, any details that we save. And you can have a first look at the trials that are relevant. So you set the geographic parameter, say you're actually willing to travel to Israel or to the US or outside of Germany or Austria to find a trial. You can actually set that in the tool as wide as you like, put in a few basic criteria about your disease and maybe what treatment history you've had, if you know your genetic mutations. But phrased in a very simple way in terms of what we ask the patient. So anyone can answer it, or they can skip questions if they don't know the answer. And then we help to narrow down this huge universe of potential trials to the ones that actually fit the characteristics that you have. And that's driven on the back end by AI, which my awesome co-founder, Danielle, is the kind of technical brains behind, but she's done her kind of whole career in healthcare, specifically in AI and machine learning. So she's created those algorithms with our awesome tech team that makes it just really easy and effortless for patients to find what they're looking for.
Mm-hmm. What clinical trials do you put onto your platform? I mean, there has also to be like kind of a criteria because it's a very sophisticated topic and it's also like a kind of dangerous. You have to be very, very careful in terms of this, I guess.
Yeah, so it's definitely a very sensitive space, particularly because clinical trials by definition are testing new treatments, new procedures, new diagnostics that haven't been approved yet. So there is an element of risk always in participating in research. And I think that's really important for patients to understand. But what the good news is that actually clinical trials face a very rigorous regulatory process. So there are international databases where all clinical trials must be registered, and that's publicly available information. And by law, you have to kind of put your trial on those databases if you want to run it legally. So all sponsors, universities, drug companies register their trials in these databases. The problem is there's no standard in any country or internationally for how that information is presented. And so what we found when we started working on Ancora is there's really great data available, but there's no good way to use it. So those publicly listed databases are where we draw the information from for Ancora.ai. And we actually list all of the trials available internationally from those databases for the indications we cover. So right now we're very focused in oncology, and for each of the types of cancer that we cover, we'll include all of the trials that are currently recruiting or about to start recruiting for those indications. We also, because of what's happened this year, we very early on launched COVID support as well. So we also include all of the international COVID trials that are registered in clinicaltrials.gov.
Mm-hmm. And how do you, as founders and managers, earn money with your platform?
Mm-hmm. So we have a B2B business model where we work with pharmaceutical sponsors and the CROs, so the companies that actually help to run clinical trials for those pharmaceutical companies. And we have sort of two revenue streams. And the first is to provide the technical backbone for services across the trial. So once a patient is enrolled in a trial, because we have a very strong technical capability in the team, we can integrate lots of services for patients while they're on the trial. So for example, we're looking now at bringing in telemedicine or patient-reported outcomes. So once a patient is actually enrolled on the trial, they can still come to Ancora throughout the whole span of the trial and interact with the different technologies that allow remote trials to be possible. And that's a huge trend that we're seeing this year. It's super exciting and really actually improves the patient experience so much versus historically the way trials have been run. And so that's kind of the technical part of the revenue model. And then on the other side, we actually then plan to charge pharma and CRO sponsors a subscription fee to actually access the platform and contact patients who have agreed and consented to consider clinical trials. So then they can look in anonymized form at which patients might fit their criteria and then reach out via email to those patients with a trial that might be interesting for them.
Mm-hmm. Can you name any numbers? I mean, how many clinical trials do you have on your platform, and how many patients or potential applicants for those trials?
Mm-hmm. So I think we had a look just within breast cancer last week, and it's more than 2,000 trials currently recruiting or about to start recruiting just for breast cancer, and we cover 14 indications. So probably, I don't know offhand the numbers for each of those, but many thousands of trials on the platform. And as I said, it's important that patients find comprehensive information and unbiased information when they come to us. So we don't just include some trials, we include all trials within those indications. So that they can actually see everything. I think there have been companies in the past that have tried to solve the recruitment problem that we're trying to solve, but in a way that they're charging for actually a referral fee for patients that they're referring. And we feel like that introduces intrinsic bias into the system. So we'd rather show patients all trials and then let them with their doctor make an informed decision. But right now we have users from 96 countries actually using Ancora.ai.
Oh, wow, that's a lot. Mm-hmm. When did you found the company? Was it 2016? Is it right? Or
2017, yeah, is when we started. And so we've been working on Ancora, I think the product as is now for about 2 years.
Mm-hmm. And why did you found the company? I mean, you have had all your careers in the different businesses. Has there been like a special moment where you recognized, okay, this should be a good thing to do?
Yeah, I think for all of us, there was this realization that we'd been working in healthcare a long time and we were really passionate about innovation in medicine, but that actually the work we were doing, all of us in the consulting world, which is where we met, was very focused on pharma companies and very focused on doctors, and that often patients are very much left out of the process of developing new products, when in fact the whole system for bringing innovation to market depends on the participation of patients. So we thought, maybe we can make this easier for them. We can make the experience better. And underpinning this all, I think, is our mission, which really drives the company, which is about diversifying and democratizing access to innovation. Because so many people are left out of clinical research if they don't have the best doctor, if they're not near the best hospital, if they don't have a high education. So we felt like we can make this better for patients. We can also bring a greater diversity of people to clinical research. And in the end, that results in safer and better medication for everyone.
With your business model, with your company, you went through this Google Accelerator program. Can you tell us a little bit more about this? How was it, and how did it work, and did it help you to just push your business further forward?
Sure. Yeah, I participated in the Google program for female founders about a year ago in Berlin. And yeah, I can only say really great things about the program. Of course, the team at Google has a ton of knowledge, especially in the kind of marketing space and the go-to-market space. So we really benefited from expertise there. But I'd say the highlight was really meeting about 20 other female founders and female founded companies who participated at the same time, and many of them as well in Berlin, where I'm based. And that, I think, just underlines how important representation is, because for me as a female founder, and also as a founder with kids, very young kids, I don't see a lot of people who look like me when I go to startup events or who have the same experience that I have. So that really normalized for me what I'm doing. And it's great to see other people doing that and to be able to talk about those issues together. And actually, 2 of the women on the program have now started just an awesome initiative called Tech in Color to help bring diversity to VC in Berlin and across Europe. So I think a lot of really exciting things have come out of that program.
And is it getting more concrete? I mean, did it help to sharpen your different strategic streams, for example, or your business model as in general? Or was it like more of an exchange platform for you?
Yeah, so I think for us, because we had quite a clear vision, the kind of model was already in place. But in terms of integrating some more analytical tools into our marketing strategy, that was extremely helpful. And then on the other side, they also had a big focus, which I really appreciate, on becoming investor ready. So they brought in different VCs to speak to us. They also sent everyone, when you could still travel at that time, so they sent us all to Helsinki for Slush. And gave us all a slot on the speaker stage there, which for us was really invaluable. I mean, you can't access opportunities like that at an early stage without a company like Google behind you. So we really appreciated that opportunity.
What did change in your life personally? What made your life different in terms of also being an entrepreneur and doing something like self-chosen, meaningful?
Yeah, I think for me, the best part about being a founder and entrepreneur is the ability to move really fast. So I'm someone who has a ton of energy. I like the process of making decisions. I like the kind of excitement. And I think in a corporate setting or in a lot of more traditional jobs, you're always waiting. You're always waiting for permission, waiting for someone to make a decision, to run it up the flagpole. And what I love about what I do now is I have a great team. My 2 co-founders, Luca and Danielle, we make decisions really easily and smoothly together. And they both also like to move fast. And I think the agility and speed at which you can accomplish things in a small company and a small team is incredible. And I can't imagine going back. So knock on wood that I don't have to.
Last question. What do you have for plans for the next year, like 2021? Because 2020 was a real special year for all of us. And probably for you, it pushed probably your company a little bit forward. Next year probably we'll have a vaccine for Corona. And yeah, what will come next for you?
Yeah. So I think for us, 2021, we're really looking forward to it. 2020 was challenging, I think, for all small businesses. For us, I think the silver lining is that we've been working on issues around diversity and health equity for years now, and they weren't really getting listened to. And I think now with the pandemic and also with Black Lives Matter, over the past months, people really understand these issues now in a way they didn't before, and they care about them. So we're hopeful that we can bring change faster. And I think digitization in healthcare has come so much faster than people imagined. So in 2021, we're launching our physician-facing product in addition to the patient product we already have. And we also have a number of really exciting pilot projects in place. So we're just starting a second pilot in the US. We also have a deal in place with a hospital in Spain. So really broadening the use of our product in different settings. Yeah, hopefully bringing a lot more patient users onto the platform as well. And the last thing I'd say is we're raising our seed round. So we're also hopeful that we can yeah, scale a lot faster in 2021.
Sounds good. Sounds like it will be a lot of work. And wish you all the best for it, for you and your team. It's really great what you're doing, I think. And for you, ladies and gentlemen, for our viewers, if you don't want to miss out any of our broadcasts, please just press the subscribe button. We'd be happy to have you as constant viewers. And thank you, Emily, again for being here. Have a nice holiday with your family. Berlin is going now. We just talked about it in into the next lockdown. So you'll have to do home office with your kids. Fingers crossed. And
thank you so much.
most important, stay healthy and take care.
Absolutely. You too. Thanks so much.
Bye-bye.